back to the channel, so they're going to be reacting to the job market results for June, which was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie, a slight 33,000 jobs lost instead of 100,000 increases that we were quote unquote expecting. I don't know who was expecting that, but let's just get straight into it.
Get to him.
Minus 33,000. ADP saying that non-farm payrolls declined by 33,000. That's substantially below for the second month in a row.
Absolutely
The
excellent
estimate of 100,000.
Wow.
It is the only decline since March of 2023. Good sector not doing too badly, up 32,000. The losses appear to come from the services sector.
Yeah, service makes sense.
Second, minus 66,000. And there's the non-farm
Nobody's
payroll
really
estimate,
wanting
which
to
includes the
travel.
government and the private sector for
Not just
tomorrow,
for like
Thursday,
the
remember,
answers that's
folks.
been going
And that's
on, but also
110,000.
because of like
It's
the
the
plane
second
crashes.
week month in a row for
Just like
ADP after
fear-mongering,
downwardly
but-
revised 29,000 for May. But it's been running, by the way, substantially weaker than the BLS private sector numbers. We'll give you that in just a second. But first, let's look at which sectors were affected. Small business down 47,000. There's been a lot of
That makes
speculation as to
sense.
whether or
though.
not
Like small
the
business,
tariffs
like you have
hurting
so
or
many
hitting
things
small
to
business.
manage. Like
Down
it's so difficult.
47,000. Medium-sized
Like
business
you don't
down
have the funds to
15,000,
like
but
money
large
to like
businesses
manage
doing
like that
okay.
many employees.
Up positive 30,000. The losses were in this professional business
Yeah, that
services
makes
sector,
sense.
minus 56,000, but also one of the stalwarts of the job market, education and health services, down 52,000.
Damn, that's
activities down
terrible.
14, but manufacturing up
Wait,
15.
but I thought
and
it was
leisure
just like, well,
hospitality
how's leisure and like
still doing well, up
hospitality?
32,000. As for wages, the 4.4%, this is, by the way, called for millions of paychecks out there, so it's actually better than the government data. It is up 4.4% for people staying in their jobs. That's down.
And I'm always like wondering how
6.8%
accurate
for
these
job
like
changers. That's down
recordings,
2%
like
from
they just
the
like
last
I know
month. Note
that
that the
they don't just like pull
absolute
something out of the
difference without
behind
here
and
to
just like
sign
throw around there.
between ADP and the BLS private sector is now up to 77,000 per month.
But like it
so
still
it's not
doesn't make
exactly
sense. Like
spot on.
do they
There's some
count
scope for the
underemployment
ADP
and into like how does
to
it
be in
work?
line with the lower estimates on the street. Guys, I've seen
Like they
other
always try to
data
like make
that
it look better than what it
suggests
is.
the payrolls
Because especially
will be
like
soft.
other first world countries, like the results are
Some of
way
the high
different.
frequency data we follow.
I know like they're
Goldbase,
very different. but
Goldman
still.
noting the big data. Also, maybe worth mentioning in the ISM manufacturing report from yesterday, they said that mentions of job firings outnumbered mentions of hirings by 3 to 1.
That is fantastic. Oh my
I think
god,
the
that's
market has a
bro.
what's the
We're
right
all
word,
doing
ambivalent
extremely well in this
relationship with
market
ADP,
in all
because
sectors.
it's just not on. But as for perhaps spotting a trend or underlining the concerned softness,
This
I
brings
think
a tear
probably
down
does
my eyes.
a decent
Oh my
job
God.
of that.
So
over the
happy.
course of a 12-month period, the two are off by about 200,000. So over time, they kind of come together. That's only 14,000 a month. As for the Fed, this will increase pressure on the Federal Reserve to cut rates, but it won't change anything.
Nah, what they need to do is just like print more
have
dollars.
over
Just like
potential inflation.
get Uncle
Really
Sam to
just
do
kind of
something about it. Actually,
deepens
no,
the
he just increased the
stagflationary
taxes.
concern that we've heard from Fed officials.
Yeah.
Meantime, the one and only Rick Santelli joins us from the CME for
Oh,
his
the
reaction
one and
to
only.
those numbers. Rick, you've been looking at them, listening to Mr. Leisman. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, definitely it's the worst job creation from ADP since March of 23. That's a pretty good stretch of time. We all know that the labor market, at least purported by all the experts, economists, and Fed
Like, that's the
personnel,
problem. Like, how do
it's just
they
a kind of a
use their
ticking
markers?
time
How
bomb
do-
of
like,
slowness.
what type
It's
of
going
index or
to
whatever
definitely
they
slow
use
down. It's just a matter of when
to
and
measure,
what the
like,
rate
these
of change
rates.
is going to be. I don't know that
I
I
know,
agree
like,
with that,
with
but I do
statistics,
agree
it's
that
like
the
a lot of
glide path
manipulation. So
is
let
going to be
me
headed
know down
down. But I
below
think it's
if
going to
you
be a
trust
long
these
glide
statistics.
path. And the relationship between ADP and the Labor Department's statistics that will be seen tomorrow. As Steve adequately pointed out, there's a wide spread there. When I look at what happened with JOLTS yesterday, when I consider most of the press and headlines over tariffs and the current administration's policies, it doesn't shock me that there may be
Don't
more
worry, the future P
uses of the
ratio
word
will
firing
be
than
high. It
hiring.
will be
But
very
maybe
high.
it's
Trust.
the contrarian end of this that we should pay more attention to. Maybe we should learn a lesson about what the equity markets did, about the kind of counter-trend rally we had that briefly pushed yields down, although I think that much of that may be in the rearview mirror. Ultimately, I think it's easy. Yes, I think the best days of the labor market are behind us, but I do think that there could be a resurgence down the road for a variety of reasons after we hit maybe a small speed bump, and I think that's the real issue here. Are we going to get a genuine slowdown or a small hiccup? I'm in the latter camp.
I mean, I think it really depends. Like the hospitality
Can we
industry
just
is
go?
doing
Can I
okay,
just ask one
at least in
question?
major cities.
What do you think this is a function
But I
of?
think healthcare
Meaning
will
why?
be very
We're talking about AI,
positive,
we're talking about tariffs, we're talking
regardless of
about
what's
what?
going on.
Eventually, standing in place creates a drain on the job growth. The reason is because people leave the job market.
But to let me
If you
know, like,
don't
how do
hire
you feel
more
about
people.
your
So what
time,
we
like, searching
heard
for jobs?
is
Like, are you
not
enjoying
so
where you're
what
working
we've
at
seen,
right
by the
now?
way, in the data is not so much firing; it's a lack
Yeah, I
of
know
hiring.
right now it's kind of
Over
tough, or pretty
time,
tough
that creates
actually.
a sap
Especially living,
the
like,
strength
the
of the
middle of
labor
nowhere,
market.
like
If you're not
Idaho or
replacing
something.
those people who leave, so the total employment level would fall. I think the uncertainty may be a major role here. And I also think that we've heard a lot of stories about small businesses, the ones who are importing stuff, the ones who take the imported stuff and make other stuff out of it. Small
Small
manufacturers,
business is like
they have
tough.
been
You really
potentially
don't have
hurt by
the
this.
capital margins
Before
to
any
really
of the
like just do
potential
whatever you want.
positives
Yeah,
that
you're
are
on a really
put
tight
by the
margin on what you
administration,
can
the
do.
bringing
There's
back
one
or the
mistake and that's
reshoring
it.
before that has any effect. I think the key
Like
here
obviously,
again
like
is the
places like
stability. which
Microsoft and
people
stuff like
say,
that,
okay,
like very
I know
small
what the tariffs are going to
businesses,
be. I
like
know what the
need a
taxes are
lot
going to
of
be. That will
funding
say,
and
okay,
help.
I get the
Obviously,
situation. Now I
and
can
Amazon as
right
well.
size my job, my employment, which
Very,
may be higher,
very
maybe
small
lower,
businesses.
maybe the same. I would just point out though that it was the weakness in the job market. People debate the 50 basis point cut before the election. It was the weakness in the job market that was cited repeatedly by the Fed as to why they cut 50. They did so in a very different inflation environment than the one we have right now. And there are the probabilities now. I guess they're a little bit higher for October, a little bit higher for December.
Why was
than
it
they
a
were
really different
this morning.
inflation environment?
Because you had
I
declining
don't
inflation back then. Come
on. You had stagnant inflation back then. Exactly
See, that's
like
the
we
thing,
have
like,
now. The
the way
sticky
they
last
interpret the
mile.
data
Really,
is
nothing
way
has changed
different.
except for the way the Fed talks
Because it can
about
be
it.
manipulated,
It
like,
really
so
hasn't
easily.
changed much, Steve. If you look at the core numbers on PC, the core numbers on a lot of the data points, they're kind of stuck between 2.5% and 3.1%.
But I
Really,
think the
nothing has
prospects,
changed on
it will
that front.
definitely,
There has been some
hopefully,
uncertainty.
get a better
but whether
uprise
you
in
look
the
at things
future,
in the
like a
past,
better
like long-term
trajectory.
capital, the credit crisis,
But obviously, like, with the
uncertainty,
revolution of like
exogenous
AI,
issues
it's kind of
always
difficult to
creep
like
up,
see
and the Fed
where
seems to be able
that
to determine
prospect will be.
policy before they
Because it
happen.
is a
I'm not
tool,
sure
but
why tariffs are
obviously-
so damn different.
Like it is a tool and stuff like that, obviously, but at the same time, the whole point of it is to, like produce like the amount of workers that you would need, and then to reduce what type of payroll you have. So
Rick, just real
kind of hard
quick,
to tell.
you have a across the board at least 10% increase in imports, right? And that will mathematically
10%
add
what? Wait, I didn't pick it up. 10% what?
His reaction,
an at least across the board 10% tariff likely to be put on imports. So that's going to have some mathematical effect.
Right. And you're making
so-
that the center of your worry bead universe, although it's what? Imports 11% of the economy. Once again, I will stress, we are overplaying the uncertainty Trump tariff card. And Trump's overplaying that he's not more hyperbole than fact on how rigid
then-
this is going to
then
be.
what is it?
And both
What is
of
it
these
then,
are going to
Rick?
meet. What is what? I think, we just made new all-time highs in stocks. I don't know. I
This
think
guy is
things are pretty darn good.
a very big optimist. The optimism is very.
Your worry bead.
The optimism is very, very interesting. Don't know. That type of outlook is kind of naive to a certain extent, for sure. But let me know what you guys think down below, and peace.